Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of the Triple Play. This is Danielle, and this week I am joined by Sam. So it's just a two-person show, but there's still so much to cover, especially with basketball. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The men's season has officially wrapped up. It's over for now until SEC play starts, but the regular season did end. But we're going to start off by looking at the Vols matchup against LSU down in Baton Rouge. Big win for the Vols. I mean, going into this was definitely a game they needed to win, especially with finishing out the season. They go into LSU and win 78-63. Armani Moore, I mean, this was a fantastic game for him. Career high, I believe. So 19 points there for him, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. But one thing that was really big was Josh Richardson coming off of a pretty bad performance game before that, but coming back with this was definitely a redemption game for him. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 steals. I mean, looking at these two guys, they definitely, between Moore and Richardson, this was a great performance from both of them.
Yeah, and they both played well, but you actually, for once, one of the few times this season, you had other people show up.
Definitely.
Hubs, 12 points. You mentioned Armani Moore with 19, Richardson with 20. Punter chipped in for 10. Derek Reese may have only managed 4, but he did manage 9 rebounds to lead the team. Moore had 8. Richardson had 5. The team played really well overall. This was a game no one really was giving Tennessee a chance to win. But like you said, it was a game that they really had to have, and they played LSU so differently from, I think, when LSU and Tennessee played here. It was the worst loss we've had all season. Tennessee responded well. I mean, Jordan Mickey dominated Tennessee last night.
Oh, yeah.
We still let him get 8 rebounds, but we held him to 9 points. Tremendous job on him. Kenneth Hornsby was the leading scorer for LSU of 25.
I think that was Keith Hornsby, wasn't it?
Yeah. Keith Hornsby, leading scorer 25, led all scorers in the game. But, Tennessee just owned everything. Shot 52% field goal, 3-point. They shot 38, hit 57% of their free throws. They out-rebounded LSU 35-29. It won both the defensive and offensive boards. And the bench was, 11 points for Tennessee, only 3 from LSU. They shut down the people off the bench for the Tigers. And in a game where, when they played last time, LSU dominated us in the paint, Tennessee managed to find a way to outscore LSU 36-20 in the paint.
That's surprising there for me. But one thing that surprises me, too, looking over at Derek Reese with 9 rebounds, I know a lot of people kind of give Reese a lot of crap for how he plays, but he's really been coming up strong with rebounds as of late. 9 rebounds for him for this game was really impressive. He's definitely using his vertical there, because, we know he has a strong vertical. So seeing that from him, super strong. Overall, great performance for the Vols. And then you turn it over and go to senior day for the Vols, and they take a tough loss against South Carolina, 60-49 here at Thompson-Boling Arena. But Josh Richardson, another strong performance from him, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. And, he led the stat line, basically. But if you look over at the blocks, that's the one place where he didn't have the lead. That was Armani Moore for the Vols. But things just couldn't click in this game.
Yeah. We talk almost complete opposite of the LSU game. Hubs was the only other volunteer in double digits with 14, tied Richardson for the lead amongst all scorers in that one, with Carrera of South Carolina having 14 as well. Tennessee, exact opposite on the boards. They only shot 36% field goals, 35% three-point. They made 57% of the free throws. They got rebounds were tied at 25. They got out-rebounded on the defensive end. They did win the offensive rebounding battle. And they outscored the bench, but points in the paint, they only managed 14 against South Carolina, and they gave up 28 after shutting down LSU, which is one of LSU, in my opinion, is the second best team in the conference. They're the only team that has a shot in the tournament against Kentucky, in my opinion. But, you look at it, and South Carolina led the whole way. South Carolina led for 33 minutes and 32 seconds of the game. Tennessee just never had a prayer in this one.
No.
And you hate it for Josh, because it was his last go-around here in Knoxville, here in Thompson-Boling Arena. You know how much he's meant to this program from a fan standpoint and how much he loves his program. You can see that. And so it's got to be a tough pill for him to swallow. And now we're back to talking the way we were before the LSU game is Are they one and done in the tournament?
Yeah.
They're probably not playing. Their last game will be whatever their last game is in the SEC tournament.
Right.
More than likely at this point, yeah, you're not going to the NIT unless you win
No.
2 or 3 games in the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, this team just looks tired. And I don't think
Definitely.
they have that kind of run left in them for the SEC tournament. I hope I'm wrong, but they just look tired and drained. And when you have the limited players that they have, that's going to happen.
Definitely, and one thing that was really important to look at this, to look at the stats for this game, looking at the free throw percentages for this game. Tennessee, like you mentioned, 57%. South Carolina was nearly perfect. They went 12 for 13 with 92% there. That's incredible, right there. I mean, 12 for 13.
And that's one reason Tennessee won some of these big games
Mm-hmm.
early in the season. They did is they were the ones that were shooting next
Definitely.
to perfect every single
Mm-hmm.
night, and all of a sudden, now that's even falling apart for the Vols.
Right.
And when you play their kind of basketball and you're outmanned, at the charity stripe is where you can help win games and stay in them, and
Mm-hmm.
they haven't done their job.
They haven't. But as we've mentioned, the SEC tournament is coming up next for the Vols to look forward to. They are the number 10 seed in the tournament, and they're going to face number 7 seed Vanderbilt. It's a split season right here that we've had between these two teams, so there's a lot to be played for, a lot to be sought after in this game. Another really big in-state game, and it's going to be played in Nashville, so I know a lot of people are saying that Vandy is going to have the upper hand whenever it comes to fan turnout, but I'm willing to bet Tennessee fans are going to make the march over to Nashville.
There should be plenty of Tennessee fans in attendance, and what people don't sometimes always realize when they talk about, the games in Nashville between Tennessee and Vandy, that'll give Vandy the winning edge. Well, what happened when we beat Vanderbilt at their place? Yes, when their fans started, it's great to be a Tennessee Vol chant early. But at the end of the day, it was Tennessee fans chanting it's great to be a Tennessee Vol, loud enough to be heard on national television in their arena. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of Tennessee fans in Nashville, if not more, and in the surrounding area that are going to come out and support this team. And when you look at it, this is a game Tennessee has to know they can win. Mm-hmm. They know what they did wrong in the loss at home. Okay, right. They couldn't control the three-point shooting in the second half. Vandy changed up their philosophy in the second half. They changed their game plan, and Tennessee couldn't match it.
Right.
So they know that they can shut down the one system where they're trying to work the two bigs inside at the same time. Mm-hmm. They were able to successfully defend that. Now they have to just sit there and work on how do we defend the three-point shooting. And they did that when they played at Vanderbilt in the first matchup. Mm-hmm. This is a game Tennessee can win. If you had to pick a matchup for them to have in the first round, this is probably the best possible outcome for them to have. Mm-hmm. So this is a game that we can win. Tennessee fans have just got to stay positive, and the team has to be positive.
Right, and looking at the rest of the matchups that we're going to see in the tournament, which starts this Wednesday, March 11th, so that's a lot to look forward to. Mississippi State will be taking on Auburn. That's a 12 and 13 respective matchup there. South Carolina with the 11 seed will be taking on Missouri that night at 9:30. Missouri is number 14 seed. And then go on to Thursday, like we mentioned, Tennessee will be playing Vanderbilt at 7 p.m. Very exciting game to look forward to. One that I'm really looking forward to. I'm not completely sure why, but I think this could be a really interesting matchup. Number 8 Florida against number 9 Alabama. I mean, these are two lower seeds. We haven't seen all that much excitement out of these two, but I think this could be a really exciting game to watch, and that's at 1 o'clock. And then moving on, we will see Texas A&M take on the winner of the Mississippi State-Auburn game. And Mississippi, who's the number 6 seed, will be taking on either South Carolina or Missouri. So that's going to be really exciting. But I think the reason why the Florida-Alabama matchup is so exciting is because whoever wins that will be taking on Kentucky on Friday the 13th. So maybe we could see Kentucky go down. I mean, they have finished the season perfect, number 1 all season. The AP rankings just came out today, 31-0. Very big for Kentucky. Give them all the credit that they deserve. But, I mean, it'd be exciting to see them go down somehow in the SEC tournament.
It would, and there's teams that can do it. And Florida may have a great chance to do it. Of course, they have to get past Bama.
Right.
It's going to be a really good matchup. I'm with you on that one. There are two teams that play similar style of ball. In Florida, they've underachieved all year. This is not the same Florida team we're used to, but they've shown sparks of being that Florida team. And you just said, what, they play on Friday the 13th?
Yes.
Hell, maybe there's a little superstition that plays into that one. It could be a bad day for Kentucky.
Right.
Never know. Against either one of those teams. I realize that's speculating. And relying on the whole Friday the 13th stuff. But,
Yeah.
Either way, that's going to be a tough matchup for
Mhm.
Kentucky. Kentucky's going to face tough competition in this tournament.
Definitely, and I mean, if they're wanting to go 40-0, like most people are saying, then they're going to have to win the SEC tournament. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they can go in and do as well as they want to in the NCAA, but it's going to come down to this, in my opinion, for Kentucky to win it all if they want to. But moving on to other games in the matchup, or other matchups in the tournament, I'm sorry, LSU will be taking on the winner of Texas A&M or the Texas A&M, Mississippi State, or Auburn winner. So a lot to look forward to for that one. If the Vols do beat Vanderbilt, they will take on Arkansas on Friday the 13th as well at 7 p.m. So that would be a really exciting matchup there. I mean, Arkansas is the number 2 seed, and they do hold that number 2 seed very well. They have been really respected all season. And then the final one to look forward to will be Georgia taking on the winner of Ole Miss against whoever wins the South Carolina-Missouri game. So it's all still so up in the air. We have not gotten into it yet, but there's still a lot to look forward to with that. But like I said, the tournament does start this Wednesday. First game will be at 7 p.m. between Mississippi State and Auburn. So really getting excited for that. And looking over at the women's, the SEC tournament has come and gone, and it's been a bit of a heartbreaker, I'm not going to lie. But we're going to start from the very beginning of the tournament. The Lady Vols took on Georgia back on Friday night. They won. Big game, big win there for the Lady Vols, winning 75-41. I mean, this game in general, not going to lie, I was really kind of nervous going against Georgia. Sure, they've been towards the middle of the pack for the SEC, but you just didn't know where Tennessee would stand with confidence going into this game. It was a little tough.
The tough thing about Georgia, and I got the privilege of being down there to watch the tournament, and everyone I was talking to had that same nervous feeling you did.
Yeah.
We'd already beat Georgia twice.
Exactly.
It's tough to beat a team twice, let alone three times in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And look at we blew Georgia out in Athens, but they hung with us in Knoxville.
Oh, yeah.
Georgia's a good team. They're a team that I think should make it into the tournament, potentially for the NCAA.
Oh, yeah.
And they can do some damage. But this game was a surprising game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't the people you expected. I mean, Ariel Massengale, 0 for 5 from three-point range.
Mm-hmm.
Your leading scorer is Nia Moore, 14. Bashar Graves gives you 11 rebounds. Jamie Nard gives you 4 assists. Nard also had 10 points.
Right.
To go with that, Bashar Graves added 13 points to go for her 11 rebounds. But Burdick, 6 points. Massengale did manage to score in double digits. Reynolds only had 4. Carter only 8.
Right.
So it wasn't the people you expected, but everyone produced. I mean, everyone that got in the game
Absolutely.
produced. Middleton put up 7. Dunbar didn't play much, but she hit a big three-pointer. See, that covers everybody, I think. But, they shot well. I mean, 54% field goal range. It wasn't their best night, but it was solid. They only shot 19% from deep, which is awful for them.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were 3 of 16. One of those was Dunbar's. 5 of those 16 misses belonged to Massengale. But they dominated Kentucky and everywhere else. Total rebounds, 47-23 in favor of the Lady Vols. Defensively, they got 33. It was 33-14, and offensively, it was 14-9. Bench points, Georgia's bench scored 17. The Lady Vols bench scored 34. And the Lady Vols got 44 points in the paint and led for 37 minutes and 12 seconds. The game was never close. They held Georgia to 11 points at the half.
Right.
I mean, the arena was stunned. I mean, it was mainly Lady Vols fans, but stunned. You held Georgia to 11 points at the half?
Yeah.
And
Any
almost
team
9.
for that matter. I mean,
yeah.
For a team to be held to just barely double digits, that's just absolutely insane. And the Lady Vols, too, in the first half, scoring 32. I mean, that's pretty average, I would say, for a halftime score. But definitely. 11 points for Georgia is just unbelievable. And Georgia comes back and scores 30 points in the second half. So, I mean, they definitely had a big turnaround. But the Lady Vols just said, you know what? No, we're going to get 40. They got 43.
And we put a lot of the starters didn't play as much in the second half.
Right.
That's one reason why Moore was able to lead the team. She played a lot of minutes. They did give Sierra Burdick some rest. She was out early in the second half. You could already see him icing her up if you were sitting over next to the bench. So, they were trying to rest her. Because Georgia was a game they felt confident in winning. That team, they had confidence about them from the second they walked out on the court. And the trend for this tournament was that Tennessee dominated in attendance at every game, even before Tennessee was down there.
Right.
The team didn't get back to didn't get to Arkansas until Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
The early games on Thursday, Tennessee already had more fans in there than anybody else.
Yeah.
So they had a home field advantage the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
The only time it was really even close to being even was in the championship game against South Carolina.
Right. And another quick stat to look at that was really surprising too. Georgia had 17 fouls called against them. Okay, that's a pretty high number we're used to seeing. Tennessee, though, only 8. Very good there for them. I mean, to only have 8 calls against them, that's fantastic. That's a lot to be happy about. But, I mean, overall, good game there for the Lady Vols. That game, I know that put a lot of momentum on the Lady Vols going into the next game, and a lot of fans were looking for that momentum, for that to be super exciting, and they got just that. You go in on Saturday, play against Kentucky, that's a team that was definitely, they had a lot of hype going with them, beating South Carolina, giving them a huge loss at the very end of the season. Big there for them. But they come in against Tennessee, and while they still got 64 points. Kentucky did very well. Tennessee won 75-64. I was just expecting more from this Kentucky team. I feel I was more nervous about Kentucky than I was about Georgia in some ways, just because I know what Kentucky brings to the table. I mean, you've had Michaela Epps all season just being incredible for them. She wasn't the top scorer for this game, which was really surprising. It was Goss, who had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals there. But it's just with Kentucky, you never know what to expect. I mean, you can kind of guess who's going to be like the leading scorer for the game, but I was not expecting to see Goss out there getting those top points. And for the Lady Vols, Sierra Burdick had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. So a full day for her, leading the way in points and rebounds for the Lady Vols. Really, really good there. But, this was a very good win for the Lady Vols. Just, I kind of expected more from Kentucky for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Everybody down there that was wearing orange was cheering for Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
Did not want Kentucky to pull the upset. One reason, another team you had to try to beat 3 times this season. And if there's a team that I wouldn't want to have to play in the NCAA tournament, it's Kentucky.
Absolutely.
They beat South Carolina. They beat other top teams. This is a scary team.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And they just didn't play well. I mean, Michaela Epps is one of the best players in the league and in the country.
Oh, yeah.
She managed 10 points in the game, but Tennessee shut her down. She got 8 of those in the second half, I think, and most of them all came later.
Yeah.
But this is a team you managed to beat 4 times in a row. Mm-hmm. Most of those games by 1 point. You just barely beat them in Lexington. You did manage to beat them by more of a score like what we saw in the tournament when we played them here the second time in Knoxville. But, it was another odd game when you look at scores. Jordan Reynolds, 13 points. Massengale only managed 9. Once again, 1 for 4 from deep. She didn't shoot well the entire tournament from deep, which was, at the end, I think one of the Achilles heels for the Lady Vols.
Right.
Graves only managed 6 after going off in the previous game. Carter did get into double digits with 12. But, Dunbar, Milton, both were held scoreless. Jamie Nard once again showed up. She did score 9 points, managed 7 rebounds. And the Lady Vols just dominated in the paint. They out-rebounded Kentucky 41-38.
Right.
They won the glass. Kentucky won the glass on the offensive side of the ball, which is what helped keep them in it.
Right.
The one area Tennessee really didn't dominate. The bench was disappointing for Tennessee. They got outscored 25-15. But, the Lady Vols, they got the lead early, and they refused to give it back. They led for 28-43. And, ultimately it was the lead they took into the half that won them the game.
Definitely, and how you mentioned the bench, too. Kentucky's bench has been strong, especially with O'Neal. Anytime she comes off the bench, she's just a leader, scoring-wise and then just player-wise as well. She can come out and really be vocal for that team. But looking at some other stats that were really surprising, Kentucky's stats overall for shooting just are not all that impressive.
No.
34%, from the field, and then 29% from three-point range. And Matthew Mitchell even said that they just could not get the ball in the goal, or in the net, I should say. And it was just, I'm sure for Kentucky fans that was hard to see, but free throw percentage, they still get 77%, so not bad there. The Lady Vols, they went 90%, getting 18 out of 20. So, this was a really good game, a lot to be excited about for the Lady Vols, especially knowing that by winning this, you're in the championship game. But, Kentucky beating them, always good for Lady Vols. But going into the game against South Carolina, I know there was a lot of hype for this one, especially now that the Lady Vols had 2 strong games against 2 very worthy opponents. Then you go in against South Carolina, who, of course, is the favorite for this. I mean, they're number 3 in the nation right now. They were number 1 overall for the SEC, which is no surprise. But the Lady Vols just couldn't pull it out. They kept it close at the half. Going into the half, it was 29-26, so not bad there. But they just couldn't get their groove going for the second half. They ended up losing 62-46. Reynolds had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Very good turnout for her there. Bashara Graves also had 8 rebounds and 3 assists. That's great for her. But, I mean, did I expect Tennessee to beat South Carolina? I mean, I wanted them to. Did I expect it? Not all that much. South Carolina had a lot they were riding off of from the regular season going into this, and you knew they wanted to make sure that they were going to be a number 1 seed going into the NCAA tournament, and to win this game, they had to get that.
Yeah. I mean, going in, looking at bracketology for a minute, in my mind, there was only one team before the conference championships that had locked up a 1 seed, and that was UConn.
Right.
South Carolina, if they won the SEC tournament, they were a 1 seed.
Absolutely.
Locked, for sure. They managed to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be on the opposite side of the fence here a little bit. I knew Tennessee could win this game, and I expected them to win it. I knew it would be tough. I knew it would come down to the wire, but it was something I thought they were capable of doing, but they just, there wasn't the same energy there that there was for the first 2 games. And this time the officiating kind of was on the other foot. Tennessee did a very good job of not getting called for fouls in the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that got called for fouls. There were some very questionable calls by the officials throughout the entire game, especially early in the first half that took a lot of Tennessee players out of the rhythms. Bashara Graves got in foul trouble early. She did finish the game with 4 fouls. Lucky for us, she didn't foul out. But really, the only one that showed up offensively was Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Narda played well. She only managed 6 points. She'd been close to double digits in rebounds, only managed 3.
Mm-hmm.
Carter only managed 7. You mentioned Graves had 7. Sierra Burdick only got 6.
Mm-hmm.
Massengill, no points.
Which is completely shocking.
I'm not sure she's ever had a game where she hasn't scored a point that she's played in. We're talking about one of the few Lady Vols in history of one of the most historic programs to ever have 1,000 points and at least 500 assists.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't score a single point in a SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
She just didn't have it for whatever reason. But, Tennessee, once again, it's the same way they lost in Columbia to South Carolina.
Right.
They were dominated in the paint. South Carolina had 34 points in the paint, Tennessee 20. South Carolina won the rebounding battle 38-32, so that was at least closer. Second chance points, South Carolina 19, Tennessee only had 9. The bench got outscored 17-9. And, it was just, they tied it 4 times, but that was all in the first half.
Right.
It was just, they didn't show up, and you can say the refs had an effect on it. They did definitely take us out of our rhythm early, but this just was not the same Tennessee team that we had seen in the first 2 games. And like we've seen the majority of the season, I think this is the only time I've seen this Tennessee team come out and play this bad this entire season.
Definitely.
And you hope it's not at a bad time, but it is definitely going to affect your tournament seeding now.
Absolutely.
You got no shot at a 1 seed now.
Yeah, right now we're definitely looking at a strong 2 seed, which, that's still a lot to be excited about.
Oh, it is.
No matter what, there's going to be games played here in Knoxville, so the Lady Vols they're still going to have a chance to play in front of that home crowd, which is always exciting, no matter what stage of the tournament you're in. But since we have mentioned it, we're going to go ahead and look at the brackets a little bit for the women's. Right now, according to ESPN's bracketology, it's looking like the Lady Vols are going to be in the Greensboro region, which is a really solid region. Solid in the fact that Tennessee is going to look really, really strong in this. The number 1 seed right now projected for it is Notre Dame. I don't really see that changing at all. Notre Dame has been they're locked in. They are solid. But, Tennessee's looking to – it shows that they could be going against Albany or America East. I would probably lean towards Albany a little bit in this matchup as to who Tennessee's going to be going against. That's going to be a really good game. I know Albany has a really good team, so –
Albany actually is the American East.
Okay, they are the American. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. Okay.
That's
okay. Solid.
Albany
Okay,
is the American East champion. Okay. So as of right now, that's who we're projected to.
Right. Okay.
But you look at the teams that will be in Knoxville. If this is how the committee votes it, it'll be Syracuse and DePaul in the 7-10 matchup, and Tennessee versus Albany in the 2-5.
Right.
okay, that should be an easy path to the Sweet 16 for
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee. I mean, we're familiar with DePaul. Yeah, we've had some really good matchups. This is not the same DePaul team that we have seen.
No.
Syracuse is not really a great team. But you look at the rest of the bracket. We mentioned who the 1 and the 2 are. Arizona State would be the 3 seed as of right now.
Right.
Oklahoma's also in there as a 6 seed. I see ultimately it being Tennessee, Arizona State in the Sweet 16, in my opinion. And that Arizona State's a great team.
Oh,
the Pac-12 has been one of the most competitive leagues in women's basketball this year. But I give Tennessee the nod there over Arizona State. In a close game, I give Tennessee
That's
the
going to
nod.
be a very close game.
So I can see Tennessee Sweet 16. I feel really confident about getting to the Elite Eight. I still feel confident about it. It's going to be tough. And you look at the other teams in there. George Washington is the 4 seed out of the 8, out of the Atlantic 10, and you've got Ohio State as the 5. Those are your upper seed teams.
Right.
So really, I think it's going to be. I don't know who wins between George Washington and Ohio State, but Notre Dame's got a clear shot to the Elite Eight.
Absolutely. I mean, Notre Dame, it's a solid team right there.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot go past that.
There's a reason. Right now, they're going to be probably the number 2 overall seed in the tournament. The ACC tournament route for them was maybe as tough of a route to a tournament championship as any team in women's baskbasketball faced this year. I mean, and they beat it, solidly beating Florida State, who also right now is projected as a number 2 seed. They're number 6 or number 7, depending on what poll you look at in the country right now. Solidly beat Florida State. So, I mean, they earned their spot. I think the 1 seeds right now, ESPN has projected as UConn, Notre Dame, South Carolina, and Maryland. Those are locks. Tennessee's only hope after losing South Carolina was Maryland fell. It was Maryland, Tennessee in that battle for that top 2, bottom 1 seed. But Tennessee losing, Maryland winning the Big Ten championship, it's a lock that those are your top 4 seeds now. It's just now we're in that number 2 seed range. Does Tennessee fall?
Right.
Hopefully, I would like to see them personally be in the Spokane Regional, just because I think that would be their best shot to a Final Four.
Yeah.
But it's doable in the Greensboro region.
It is. I think it definitely is. It's just, I mean, no matter where you're going to be, there's going to be something that's going to mix it up.
Oh, yeah.
There's always that one Cinderella team that comes out, but there's still a lot to be excited about. Really excited for Selection Monday to be coming up for the women. It'll be next Monday night, and then this upcoming Sunday night we will be having Selection Sunday for the men. So this is best time of year for basketball. This is like Christmas. It's going to be fantastic.
We're officially in March Madness.
We are.
Now, I mean, it's time
it is
to
here.
go. Let's get...
Definitely.
I'm ready for this. I love basketball, and to me, I like the NBA, but there's no better time as a basketball fan than March Madness and watching these college kids go out there and put it all on the line every single night.
Definitely. And speaking of great times of the year, we are in spring. We've mentioned spring training's going for MLB. It has been beautiful. But we have finally had some diamond action here on Rocky Top.
At long last.
And it has been wonderful. But we're going to go ahead and start with softball first before we head into baseball. The Lady Balls are looking good on softball. I mean, right now, 16-3 overall. Not too bad. Home, they are 5-0, which is very exciting to see. 2-0 away, 9-3 at neutral sites, so not bad there. But their most recent win came on Sunday. Getting my days mixed up. It came on Sunday against Indiana State. Just a solid game. Shutout, 12-0, 5-inning win there. They also played Purdue that same day, winning 8-0, 5-inning game there. I mean, Lady Balls are looking really strong, as expected.
Yeah. I mean, and the Lady Vols, much like the Diamond Vols, have seen a lot of games get canceled due to weather.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we saw the Tennessee Classic get canceled. The game at Virginia Tech got postponed. So finally, we get to the Tennessee Invitational, our first real chance to see the Lady Vols play at home. I mean, they've had 4 home games,
5 home games,
5 counting the Tennessee Classic, postponed or canceled. This was really we're at home, we get to play in front of our fans.
Yeah.
And they play strong. They beat Northern Iowa 5-4. They beat North Dakota State 14-3 in 5 innings. They beat Indiana State 8-0 in 5 innings, and then they had Purdue and Indiana State again. They went undefeated in the Tennessee Invitational. I mean, it was solid performances from everybody on the team. They played well. There's a lot of questions about, you finally don't have a Renfro in the circle anymore.
Right.
How's that going to affect Tennessee? Obviously, they didn't make it as far in the Women's College World Series last year as they had.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had Tennessee having a down year, picked to finish in the middle of the pack in the SEC.
Right.
When's the last time that's happened?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you go and you look at it in the game against Iowa, Northern Iowa. Aaron Gabriel got the win. She pitched 3.1 innings with Randy Gaffin coming in pitching the other 3.2. Both of them were productive.
Right.
They both did give up 6 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel got 5 strikeouts. Gaffin got 4. And Gaffin's been someone in the circle. I don't think a lot of at least fans expected to be good in the circle for us.
Mm-hmm.
But she's been huge so far in the circle for us. I mean, you look at North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
And we look at that game, if I can get the box score to pull up, which it won't. So North Dakota State, the bats showed up. They won 14-3. They got the game shortened win just in 5 innings. And you look at Indiana State, the first matchup with them, and it was, again, Aaron Gabriel getting the win. She's now 6-1 on the season at that point. She pitched the complete 5 games, only gave up 2 hits, struck out 10.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Gabriel was the person that we expected to have to lean on in the circle. And so far, she's shown up big. She's proved why she was a solid recruit. And, yeah, she's had trouble here at Tennessee between injuries. And then, obviously, when you have to sit behind, both the Renfro sisters, you're not going to get a lot of playing time. Yeah. But, she pitched again in the second game against Indiana State, pitched all 5 innings again. And just played solid.
Definitely.
And she's been a bright spot for Tennessee in the circle. They've gotten help from unexpected sources in the circle. Gaffin's played really well, been really strong. So this team is on the right track right now to surpass everyone's expectations.
Absolutely. And their next game will come Tuesday. They have a doubleheader against Illinois State, so that should be really exciting. Games are at 5 and 7:30 as of right now. They're scheduled for that. But what's really exciting is SEC play will open up on the 13th. So that's coming up Friday. A lot to look forward to there. They will be heading down to Columbia, South Carolina. I mean, that's going to be a solid matchup against South Carolina. They're really going where it comes to diamond sports. So
definitely be a tough test on the road, but it's going to be that first big test in SEC play, so we'll get a better sense of how they're really going to be after that. Definitely.
And the Vols finally finished up a home series. Very exciting to be able to say that statement. I've been waiting for this.
Definitely.
They beat Grand Canyon 2-1 for this series. Really exciting games. I mean, Friday they win at 4-1. They lost 1-0 on Saturday, and then yesterday, fantastic game, winning 7-1 there. But I mean, looking at this series, for both wins, pitching was definitely the name of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Brett Marks on Friday, the senior, threw 7.2 innings, which was just fantastic there. 7.2 innings pitched with 12 strikeouts, and I think those were both career highs for him, now that I think about it. So, I mean, that's really exciting. A.J. Simcox had a bases-loaded single, which was really exciting there for him. I mean, solid batter there. Definitely just solid player all around. But one thing to mention with Marks as well, he only allowed 5 hits and 1 run, which was a solo home run in the top of the second. So really exciting there. Looking at Saturday's matchup against Grand Canyon, the Vols did out-hit Grand Canyon, but it just did not work out for the Vols. Drake Owen was the starter for Tennessee, and Coley Bruns, was the starter for Grand Canyon, and they each only gave up 4 hits. So, I mean, that's really exciting there.
I mean, it was a strong outing for O&B for Tennessee, but, it was just one of those games where, Tennessee got hits, but they can never put it together when the team had someone on base. And it's just one of those low-scoring pitchers duels that you get in baseball. They're great games to watch.
Yeah.
You're not always going to come out on the winning edge.
No. And O&B, too, this was his career long, I think, with 8 innings pitched, I want to say. 4 strikeouts, and I know he walked 2 guys, so not bad there for him. But looking over at the Grand Canyon side, Bruns did he struck out just over 6.1 innings, so not bad there for him. But Nick Senzel really helped the balls. Or I'm sorry, he could have helped the balls out as much as he has before, but I know there was a pop fly, I believe, in the 6th inning or so. So bases were loaded, and I thought, whenever I looked back at it, I thought maybe this would work, but no. Popping out definitely did not help. But looking into Sunday's matchup, the balls definitely got back into their rhythm. They had a great showing. Nick Senzel was hit by a pitch, which was pretty scary to watch, but Christian Stewart had a 2-run double, which pretty much pushed the balls into the lead to where they could have won it all. So really exciting there for him, for the balls in general too. But looking ahead, they will play Morehead State this Wednesday before SEC play opens up in Gainesville on Friday. So SEC baseball, always so exciting to watch.
And for Tennessee, you wish they wouldn't have had so many games get either canceled or postponed due to the rain. Because I mean, right now they're sitting at 6-5, which is great. But they've lost so many opportunities to improve, and now you're going up against one of the best teams, one of the better teams in the country in Florida, one of the better teams in the SEC. But I mean, the theme for this weekend was Stewart and Simcox. They both showed up big at the plate. Really, all of our pitchers played well. And you mentioned Sunday's game where the offense went off. Stewart and Simcox both had 2 RBIs. Kyle Serrano on the mound, 5 innings pitched, only gave up 1 hit, struck out 5. Didn't go as long as some of the other guys did this weekend. But, I mean, they got to Cameron Brindle for Grand Canyon. Only lasted 4.1 innings, gave it 7 hits, 2 earned runs. Did manage to get 6 strikeouts on the balls, but the balls were aggressive. They swung the bats, and they came alive. If they can have this kind of production offensively and this kind of production from the mound, they've got a shot to go in there and not just take one game from Florida, but potentially take the series.
Absolutely. And quick correction there, they do play Morehead State coming up this Wednesday, but they have a game tomorrow against ETSU at 6:00. Let's hope the weather lets that happen. I know there's rain scheduled pretty much the whole week.
It's not a great forecast, not a great outlook. That's another one that could be a potential postponed and rescheduled.
Absolutely.
Because the two teams are geographically so close. But keep an eye out for that one. That one should be a decision probably early in the day with the way it's supposed to start raining tonight.
Definitely there. Let's just hope for good weather, because, I mean, it's nice to have baseball back on Rocky Top. I know we've been talking about it a lot on the show, hoping we could get some games in. First series did look promising. Weather was beautiful for it. Absolutely gorgeous weekend, but a lot to be looking ahead to with baseball just starting to really get exciting. We're just now getting into SEC play. That's a lot to look forward to. Same with softball. But one quick note, we want to give a bit of a congratulations to Christian Coleman, who was just named the SEC Freshman Runner of the Year. It's always nice to have a ball winning an award like that.
I don't think we've had a member of the track and field team win many individual awards the last couple of years, but definitely not to my knowledge. And Freshman Runner of the Year, congratulations to him. I mean, he just came off, I believe it was the bronze medal.
Yeah, the bronze medal in the 60-meter.
The 60-meter at the SEC track and field meet. But, this team, our track and field program has always been such a great program historically. They've been down a little bit as of late, but I think we're starting to see a turnaround there.
Definitely.
And this is just one sign that program, like so many of our other programs that have fallen on hard times lately, are starting to turn the corner into being great again. I mean, this is an exciting time to be a Tennessee Volunteer fan. Exciting time to be around the University of Tennessee, and that's one of the reasons why.
Absolutely. But
congratulations to him.
Definitely, and this was definitely a full show. Heading into spring break, there will not be a show next week. It's kind of sad since Selection Sunday and Selection Monday are happening next week, so we'll be covering that extensively the following week, but we'll be talking about the real March Madness by then, and that's absolutely crazy to think about.
Come back to some serious basketball talk.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm a basketball guy. One of the best times of the year for me.
Definitely.
But we'll definitely, next week, a little bit of a bummer not to jump right into it. We'll have to wait a little bit, but we'll be right back in the prime of March Madness.
Definitely, and then we'll also be talking more about SEC baseball and softball, and we'll probably end up doing a little bit of a look ahead to the NFL draft, which is going going to be coming up
Sneaking
ever
up on
so
us.
quickly. So definitely a lot to look forward to. But thanks for joining us again this week, and we will see you next week.